Hi, everybody. Welcome for Cheri and Jenni read the world, anything but Trump questions. Although we do have our thoughts and intuitions, but
It seems like everything is Trump. I don't even want to hear that name anymore.
I know. Well, I think we're heading on out of the Trump era, so
yeah,
that's what we have to say on that one.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, welcome. Bora Bora, thank you for coming. A light worker, hi again. And Viviani.
Hi, Viviani. So, I like worker.
If you have anything you'd like us to give it a shot on, we'll do whatever. I mean, we do have I have pendulums.
I do too.
We have cards. We have hi Kay. Different things. So we'll see what we get since this is our first shot. You're the experimental group. Experimental chat.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. We just thought, we want to do stuff for some fun. I don't know, some lighthearted, different fun things.
Yeah.
This is current events questions. We're not taking personal questions on this one, at least for now. So is that okay with you, Jenni? Or do you want to take personal questions?
I think we can take them all because I'm not.
You want to take all questions? Okay. All right, then we'll take all your questions. This was read the world. So I guess, current events. I guess current events could be selective on personal or so we'll do whatever. That's the nice when you don't have a lot of questions, you can read on almost anything.
Right, yeah.
So
I have my original pendulum, my favorite.
Oh yeah, what is it?
It's
that's pretty. Is that a bloodstone?
It's all kind of messed up now, but it still works.
As long as it works, that's all that matters.
So good. And that's the one when I was looking for a pendulum, I went near it and there was a tree, like a branch of tree kind of, and all the pendulums were hanging. And I went near that one and it just went, just started vibrating. So, but this is really my favorite. It always works for me. Always, always.
Well, that's good. That's like the one that fell on the floor and jumped on me.
Hit you in the head? I mean, in the leg?
On the leg. It jumped on my pant leg, which was this one. Yeah. I have about 5 pendulums.
When you come here, bring that one with you.
This one? Okay.
Yeah.
So, this one.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, so that's this one.
Maybe it must be your traveling pendulum.
Maybe, because I have a clear quartz. I have the rose quartz. I have that one, which I can't pronounce. I have another black one that I can't pronounce. And then I have an amethyst, an actual natural amethyst stone, which is just a rough cut stone.
Yeah.
So this one's always.
Amethyst is always good.
Yeah. So this is my kind of go-to one and everything. So
how's everybody doing?
Yeah, everybody doing good. The weather's here is a little cooler, but it is not raining, and it's at least, I think it's almost 60. So that's good. How about you?
It's in the 80s here.
Shut up.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not raining.
Beautiful.
That's good. We had a tornado watch yesterday.
Oh, no.
First of the season. So yeah, Viviani has pendulum. Yeah, I do. I started out thinking, well, I'll take one. I thought, well, I'll have another one. Then, I got a third. And then I went to get one. And that's when I bought the rose quartz. And then the other one jumped on me.
Viviani, give us a question.
Okay, here's a question. Here we go. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, we did have one question, and that was we'll start with that one.
Okay.
In the community post, and that was by Carl. He wanted to know if China will invade Taiwan and eventually the Philippines. And I did go into that before. Do you want me to go first or?
Well, I have one thing to say about that. There's no way they're going into the Philippines because the Philippines has a military base. That won't happen.
And they've been contemplating it, but they've seen the world reaction to Ukraine And also, it's still on the back burner, I think, but they're going to think long, hard. China has more internal strife than we realize.
They don't have a lot of
China
money.
is not as together as people want to think they are. And they can't, when it comes down to it, when push comes to shove, it's not that they don't want to, or they might make some subtle testing the waters, but too much rides with their economy on the rest of the world. They're too beholden to the rest of the world when it comes down to it. If they thought they could get away with it with the rest of the world not doing anything, but Ukraine has showed them that is not the case. And also, when the United States stopped sending money, that was a wake-up call that the rest of the world isn't going to tolerate a bully. And so they're thinking long and hard. I don't believe it's off the table. And I think if they ever saw a weak spot, they may try. But right now, I would say it's more likely than not, they're not going to. And that's my feeling on it. They're not going to. They have much more things to worry about. It's, it's a much more complicated situation than if you listen to the news media, even. And if you just try and go into the energy of China itself is really, it's somewhat chaotic right now. It's somewhat discombobulated. It's not as together. It's not as strong as it once was. It doesn't have the power it actually had.
Plus, it was aligned with Russia, and Russia is not going to have the power anymore either. So, yeah, there's no way they're going to the Philippines, and there's no way they're going to attack, because they know the U.S. will stop it.
Mm-hmm. And what they didn't really see the big picture of is their economy is tied to the world's economy. So if they cut that off, there's no way they could fund a war, even if you take away the psychic ability and the logic ability there. But even so, just going into how they feel, it's like whether they want and know are two different things. They want to do it, but they can't do it. Not that they might not try and test the waters and see if they could get away with it, but it's not going to happen.
I think they just want to look like a bully. So they're
exactly
testing waters because they want to look like they're strong.
Right.
But it's not something they can really
do.
It's just not. But
no,
they
in
want
fact,
to look big and bad.
As it changes, I see actually the United States and China starting to have more of a mutual beneficial relationship eventually than an adversarial relationship.
Well, I do believe a long way down the road, I don't know how many years it's going to take, maybe 50, 30, 40, 50, China will not be communist anymore.
No. Right. And I do think even in the next, couple years, that relationship's going to change, because they are going to realize, it's just going to change. There's so many things that are in the works and changing that we don't know on a spiritual level that are going to happen. It is amazing. And I do see that there's going to be more of a, it might not be friends, but we're going to have a more agreeable relationship, and it's going to develop. So yeah. And there won't be the communism. I definitely think I agree.
So I just looked it up, and the Philippines are getting 4 new bases from the US.
And that's not by accident. Yeah. This is your question, Carl, about China. And I don't think that, I actually think that the leader that's there, he's not as secure in his position as he was. There's people that don't really want him because he doesn't have the best interests of China at heart. And they've done a lot of things. And there's a certain aspect of the government there that knows that it's to their detriment, some of the things that have been done. And they've made mistakes in the past that they're digging out from now that had unintended consequences. So the person that's there now doesn't have this ability to see the big picture or down the road. And there's a certain sect in that government that can. And I think they're going to work to oust him and get him out. And I don't know. I feel like in a year or so, there might be someone new in there right now. There's something in there. They're going to work to get him out because they want to move along. They want to progress. They want to be They almost want to be somewhere in the middle of communist and democracy, and they kind of want to have the best of both. And they see the way they're going isn't going to work.
So China, they allowed a lot of private businesses because they did want to grow. Right. So then that gave everybody a little bit of taste of, being independent. And then things kind of went nuts, and they started building apartment buildings after apartment buildings after apartment buildings. And guess what? They're sitting empty. Mm-hmm. They're empty. There's not, so what they had planned is not working.
Right. And there's
people, the rest of the world, it's going to,
right.
It's going to get better.
Right. It will get better. And there's people in there that know this, and they're going to work to affect the change. So that's what what they're showing me, Spirit's showing me on that one. Yeah. So here's a personal question. So I'll let, if you want to.
Oh, wow.
I don't know about.
We're not supposed to read on other people.
On what they'll look like.
I mean, okay, so let's read on how you're going to feel when you see that person for the first time.
There you go. That's good.
That's a better question. We can't. Okay, so.
Because they're really not going to tell you he's going to be 6'10",
well, I don't know whether
or green eyes, or
a female or a male, or
right.
Both.
Right.
We have to be inclusive.
That's true. You don't know.
Let me try. I kind of know. So your future spouse is going to be kind of large and kind of larger than life in the personality and the love. Very loving, very funny, very happy. Good job, family person. And when you meet this person, you'll know it. It's going to hit you in the heart. When they walk past you, or you see them across, like an outdoor area, and you look at them, you're going to know it. So yeah, it's coming.
Yep. There you go.
You go, Cheri. What do you think?
I was doing this. Let me see.
Oh, okay.
But I got that same thing. Your soul's going to know.
Right.
When you see that person, you might not know it real. You're going to have a funny feeling, but your soul's going to know. It's going to be an out of the blue instant connection. It's
definitely like a person with a big personality, which is good.
But I feel a teddy bear. Internal teddy bear, but bigger than life, and it's going to be totally out of the blue.
Very loving, very happy, very funny.
And it might not even be someone it's going to be more of a feeling than what you're going to see when you look at them. It's going to be more of a feeling.
Right.
If that,
And it doesn't really matter what they look like.
Right. It doesn't.
It matters like soul to soul, heart to heart, how it feels.
That's right. It does. And I think that's what they're going to be. And they're going to seem kind of a little bit more, that larger than life left. They're going to be a teddy bear. I'm telling you, they're going to be nice and squishy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Very loving.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd like to have a teddy bear.
Really, who wouldn't want a teddy bear, So, a light worker. When and how will science be more equitable to women and minorities? Let's see. Science is gonna change to where we're going to, I don't want to say ignore, but they're going to take those factors out of the equation. They're going to slowly, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're Hispanic, Black, white, Asian, all that's going to start coming out of the equations. And it's going to be on, just the facts and more of that. They're just going to slowly start. Because people are going to demand it, and we're going to start slowly taking it out. We're going to stop having that in your face division, that in your face, that they're going to start just removing it. If that makes any sense. A lot of this stuff where you always mark certain things down, that's going to start going away. Where everything is categorized, they're going to start taking some of that away and just base a human on a human. It's going to be a slow process, but that's what we're going to work towards, where they're just going to remove that. They're going to remove and there's also going to be more of a look to, okay, that was the past. How do we work on not doing it? Let's change how we do it. Let's stop. I think there's going to be let's stop harping on the past. Let's move beyond the past and fix it rather than harp on it. And there's going to be more of a concerted effort to leave the past in the past, learn what we learned, and move on from it. And that also comes with the United States, a lot of it accepting their, at times, horrific treatment of people of all races. They're going to have to accept that and accept and see the truth. So as we start accepting our past and the truth and that's across the world, then we can face it. And that's going to start really setting the seeds and the stage for change. What do you see?
Okay, so I think that science is already equitable in the higher echelons. If you're smart, and you test well, and it doesn't matter whether you're black or white or female or Indian or whatever, it doesn't matter. So the higher echelons in the universities, the PhD groups, the people that are already doing that level of science, it doesn't matter. It's already a done deal. Mm-hmm. But maybe you're talking about in like high school and stuff, maybe.
I think when is it going to affect us on an everyday, I think is the way I took it, on an everyday.
Well, I just went to the high people, the PhDs, the doctors, I didn't say real, mm-hmm. the scientists, the people who work for NASA, the people who work in, what's that thing? The lasers and space. It doesn't matter who you are. When you're on that level, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you can come up with, what you can conceive, what you can produce, and how many awards you can win. So that level, it's already there. So I guess it's going to trickle
down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though that doesn't work. But no, I think it's going to take time, though. It's definitely going to be time. It's going to take time, but it will. I hate to say this.
Science in high school now. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. So one of our community members, her granddaughter is in a robotic group in her high school. And they go and they have, they build the robots. And then they have, what do you call it? Like
BattleBots,
like field things about
right
whose robot is going to win, and it doesn't matter because this person is not male or female. Mm. So, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So that it starts first in science because let's just. The scientists and I hate to say this word, but I'm going to say it. The nerdy people that don't fit somewhere else, they fit in science. They do well in science. So I think that it's already happening. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I know for sure,
And also, I think as our times change, and another thing you hate to say, but as this old mindset of people die off, however you want to look at that. Right. And these new people come up, you're going to have some leaps, but as things change and, these next couple of years we're going to have an awful lot of change for the good.
So this robotic group, this particular one, and I guess they all had that. It was like I think a statewide thing. They all had mascots. I mean, it was really a big deal.
Yeah.
A really big deal. So
yeah.
Things are already changing.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, as this eclipse has literally ushered in a new age. So we're starting at you're at the perfect time where the old guard is ending, and we're going to see it, and we're ending into a whole new phase of existence. We've gone into, so things are going to change, but now whenever anything changes, you do have that chaos. So is it going to be bad? It's going to be a good chaos, but out of this, we have to see it and we'll fix it. But we're heading into such an awesome time, and it's going to be truly amazing. We just might have some growing pains.
So I'd like to know what exactly Lightworker was referring to, because if you talk about science as in medical sciences, that is definitely not equal.
No, it's not.
So if you had specified medical sciences, it's going to take a while.
Yeah. And it's going to start slow. It's going to start slow. Things are going to change.
Yeah. Medical sciences, that's like, it's just like
where you think there would be more equitable fairness, sometimes there's the least.
Well, yeah. And so, yeah, don't get me started on that.
Yeah. That's another show. We both can go for 2 hours on that one.
Yeah.
So Teresa Ford, will North America have any volcanoes erupt in the next few years?
Cheri, is it my turn or your turn?
Oh, whatever. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not sure. Take it with a grain of salt. I think that the volcano near, it's in Washington.
Mm-hmm. That's what I feel. The Pacific Northwest.
It's gonna go. Will it be bad? I don't think it's going to be that bad, because it's already happened. So people are kind of prepared for that kind of, and they know okay. So a lot of people, not a lot, some people died last time because they'll give you a warning and you get the heck out. And some people didn't. They're like, I'm not leaving my home. Well, they're the ones that died. So you'll know ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's going to be the next one. I don't know. It might not be what's a time within 2 to 3 years, though. I don't feel anything imminent. It's like 2 to 3 years, maybe.
Let me see.
What are you picking up?
It has the pendulum. Let's see.
Oh, get the pendulum.
Let's see. Pendulum is good for time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's the name of that one? I don't know.
Mount St. Helens?
Yeah. What, Mount St. Helens erupt in the next year? Okay, wait, let's stop it. Will Mount St. Helens erupt in the next year? No. Circle is no. It's definitely no. Will Mount St. Helens erupt in the next 2 years? Yes. Now it's big. You see it?
Yeah. I felt 2 to 3 years, and I felt the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. But, they'll know ahead of time. They'll tell everybody. Most people will go to safety. It's not going to be.
Right. I heard it will be a manageable eruption, is what they just said. Yeah. If an eruption can be manageable, it will be a manageable eruption.
Yeah. One time when I was flying from the United States to England, that's when that Iceland. No. shoot, that volcano in the middle of the Atlantic went off, and there was clouds and smoke everywhere. We had to fly around it. I'll never forget that.
Wow.
Reykjavik. So yeah, Reykjavik's in Iceland, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That was huge. And, and oh my gosh, it's going off again.
Excuse me.
Right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So
let's see. A light worker has a question. What will what will be the future of AI? It will be everywhere.
So AI is going to be good for some things, like medical things.
Yes.
And not good for some things.
It's going to be how humans handle it is the issue. Yeah. Not AI itself. It's how we will handle it.
It's not really determined yet.
Right. We have AI will open so many doors to so many things and offer us things that we'll never can imagine. It will be us to regulate it in a way that will neither constrain or let it go out of control. It will be up to the people to find that middle ground of how to handle it the right way. And if they can do that, it will open boundless doors. If they do not handle it in the correct way, then it won't. And right now it's leaning more towards humans will, after a rocky start, handle it in an appropriate way after they kind of get a grasp of it and realize it's here to stay. But as it sits right now, if they take the appropriate measures and don't go overboard either way, it will be, but there's still, regardless, will be people that will attempt to abuse it. But as good as AI will be and as good as people will do, they will also be able to develop AI that can detect other AI, and it helps, and it will like kind of buffer some of that. So if they do it correctly, that's of course, humans. So that's what I got.
Yeah. So, they put a chip in somebody's brain that couldn't walk, and then he was able to take some steps. So in some instances it will be good, but and also, it's going to be all over the internet. So use your intuition to decipher what's correct and what's not correct, what's true and what's not true, what's good for you and what's not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't like those bot things. Like, really? I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. It has the potential to be abused, definitely, and will be. It's up to, there'll be a fine line, and it'll be trial and error and work, but it's not to be feared.
But other people have said, some people have said, and this may be true, that it will release people from like working in chicken farms and working in all these places where they toll all the time, and it'll give us more money, and then we will be paid a monthly wage by the government. So it'll be, if it has the potential to lighten your load. It has the potential to give you a life, a little bit life of, I don't want to say luxury, but
where you have some more free time, where you can actually, you don't have to work 6 days a week or 5 days a week or 50 hours, like so many people have to do now to make ends meet. You won't have to do that anymore.
Just think about people that work in the chicken processing plants. They work all the time, and it's just like they have like no extra life. They don't take vacations. Right. They don't, it's so it can't be good. I can't believe I'm saying this because my brain is going, I don't like AI, but it has the potential to really help the world.
Right. It does. Great potential. And also it'll free up some jobs. It'll give people more time to do the things we're supposed to be here doing, which is spiritual growth. Also, we're not here just to work and die. We're here to grow spiritually. And we've gotten into this thing that we're here to work and die for the top 1% who don't give a damn.
Right.
And that's kind of the rut we're in. And we're going to reach upon that rut and we're going to start really being the true type of people we were meant to be when we were here, which is you work and you whatever, but you also have the time to devote to your spirituality and to pleasure and to different things. And it'll also open up new jobs. As those jobs go away, it'll have new jobs. It'll give more people time to devote to the jobs they like to do.
It'll be more fun jobs. It'll be
right.
Things that make you happy.
Exactly.
That you feel like you're helping. You're really contributing, as opposed to like working on the automotive line at BMW.
Right. Exactly. If you come back in 50 or even 100 years and you look back, you're going to be like, holy shit, it's going to be so different. Like you can see the progression this last 100 years, but then we're just going to go like it's going to be night and day.
And they say artificial intelligence is going to be driving our cars. I have a kind of hard time accepting that, but
yeah, X-Files did an episode on that.
Yeah,
it was pretty interesting. It's kind of horrendous.
They're saying that, once it's like all online, it's supposed to be okay, but I don't know. I have a hard time with that one.
Yeah.
But
they also are coming out with hover vehicles now.
Okay, so are we going to like crash in the middle of the air? I mean, what are the rules for hover vehicles in the air? I mean, it just blows my mind.
I know, doesn't it?
Oh, no.
The Jetsons are like on our doorstep.
Yeah.
Now, we just all need a Rosie. But of course, then you got the Cylons who might attack. So who knows? I don't know. Yeah. But I obviously watch a lot of sci-fi. Okay, here's one.
I love the Jetsons. Like, who doesn't love the Jetsons? Like,
I know.
Who? Nobody.
I know.
We love the Jetsons.
So here's a question. She would ask a question. I didn't get to it in my show. Did she have a past? You can read on this one if you want, Jenny. Or
Lisa, didn't we already do that?
I don't know. I feel like you have connections to France, though, but it goes way beyond Joan of Arc.
I didn't open the record, so this is psychic reading. You definitely lived in France several times, if not many times. I think that's a question better for Akashic Record reading, because I didn't open the records. You definitely have been in France many, many times. Were you associated with Joan of Arc?
I heard that's the tip of the iceberg on her relationship with France.
I think so take this with a grain of salt. I think you were there. You weren't part of the army, because I think she was the only female in the army, and I don't get that you were a man. I'm just not getting anything. But the reason I think I'm not getting anything is that, Lisa, we should do this in channeling class. And let's channel.
That's right. Do it in channeling class. There you go. Okay.
Right? I think that's why you brought it up, because I think she wants to come through.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
So if she does want to come through, that means you were associated with her. Maybe definitely in the same soul family. So this is okay. Yeah, let's
channeling class.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Okay. Viviani has a question about the Amazon forest.
Oh, man. You go first, Cheri.
Me? Okay.
No.
I didn't want to butt in again. So.
Well, I don't know. I think I said it last time. You go first. You're next.
Okay, I'll go first.
But I got something. You go first.
Okay. I feel like they're saying that it's going to be a struggle of the two forces, of those that want to destroy and those that want to farm and those that realize the importance. And it's going to be another little bit of time before things start changing and coming back around. It might be it feels like it might be slowing a little, but it's going to take a good couple years, it feels like, before they're really going to start making more of a concerted effort to stop this well, it's not really, well, like the deforestation, even just to, and they're showing me burning of it and the farming, and they're gonna put a stop to it, and eventually they're gonna realize, they've gone too far, and they're gonna make areas where they can no longer it'll be protected, and then eventually they're going to work on rebuilding and try, but it's going to take a long time to get some of that area back, and they're eventually going to try and reclaim some of that area, but it's going to be a long process, but it's going to be a little bit longer before they really start a concerted effort to do something, and then they're going to protect what's there, and then they're going to start reclaiming, and that's what I got. What do you got?
So I went way off into the future, and Mother Earth is going to protect herself and ascend and grow. So in the future, the Amazon forest will be fine. That's what I got. So I wasn't looking,
Well, that's good though. I got now, you got then. So it's going to turn out okay eventually.
In the future.
Which is what I got. It's just going to take a long process.
Yeah. So just hold on to the hope, because it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But we may be gone, but
yeah,
who knows?
I think, yeah, it's going to take a good bit of time before it, they're going to kind of do it in steps.
Yeah. And honestly, that's part of the political things of the world. So all these politicians that only care about money and greed in themselves, they're going to be thrown out in the next 20 years. So after that, then things are going to start to change.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's all in how fast humans want to affect change.
And there's so many people that are praying for the forest, sending love and light. It's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. You're right. It's going to be a little bumpy ride till then.
Yeah, it will be. It's going to be bumpy. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we have. Yeah, it was about politics, but then we decided to answer a couple other questions because at the time no one was here, and Jenny said, she said, sure. So we said, okay. But originally it was just going to be our current events. Hi, Linda. Okay. I don't know if we're qualified to answer this question.
Oh, wow. Oh, the pendulum is qualified.
There you go.
Okay. I don't know if y'all can see it. You probably can't see it. Let's see.
I can see it. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Okay. So stop moving. It stopped. Well, Linda moved to Spain in the next 6 months. That's a no. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Well, Linda moved to Spain before the end of this year.
Well, it's like a maybe.
That's like an undecided.
Yeah.
Well, Linda, Okay, so let me change the question. Will Linda make a trip to Spain before the end of this year? Oh, that's a big fat yes.
Yeah.
That's a really big fat yes. Wow.
I think
okay.
like in March of 2025.
Can you see that, Linda?
That is a huge.
Well, Linda meets someone in Spain that makes her want to move to Spain when she goes there in this year. That's a yes. Okay, this is fun. This is so much fun. Okay, so thanks, Linda, for the question. So will Linda move to Spain in 2025? That's a big yes.
Mm-hmm.
Brush upon your Espanol.
That's right. Change that whatchamacallit class.
Portuguese.
Yeah, Spanish. Yeah. Change the port. I can't talk today. My tongue's broke.
I used to have a person that when I was sick, she would clean my house and she was Portuguese. I tried to learn a couple words, but Portuguese people are very loving. They are so loving. They're wonderful.
Yeah. I remember when I was a hospice nurse, I think I told the story. The house for the last day was, they were from Puerto Rico and they tried to teach me some Spanish words while we watched the Spanish soap operas.
Yeah. Cool.
So Carl has a personal question.
Hi, Carl.
Okay. I'll let you read on Carl. I read on him a couple times today.
I know. Well, we're not supposed to read on health.
Right. Definitely, though, if you do have a question or kid or problem, see the doctor if it's concerned. I mean, kidneys, some men can be prone to kidney stones, more in men than women.
Okay, so I can't believe I'm saying this. Did you pick up something that hurt your back? I don't think it's your kidneys. Mm-hmm. But I can't say that. So, okay.
Let's just hypothetically speaking.
Messages from my guys are that they want me to know now. Okay. Okay. Hey, Carl, your guides are very happy that you are asking these questions, that you are expanding your spirituality, that you are looking forward in a positive manner. And I see you surrounded by like white light, like a starburst of white light, not a bubble, a starburst of white light. You have much to learn and you're going to have much to teach. You're going to be a teacher. So you've been through your dark night of the soul. It led you to ask questions, to seek knowledge. I'm hearing you only have up to go from here. You have up to go. Happiness is your future. Happiness is your future.
Okay.
So I heard Cheri saying before in the other show to manifest, and they're saying the same thing. Start manifesting. And so this is Jenni speaking now. I'm a really good manifester, but when I first started manifesting, I was really, really, really sick, and I was in a lot of pain, and I had to get I felt like I was a prisoner of war in my body, and I had to get my mind out of in my body. So I would daydream. I didn't know what I was doing. I would daydream about driving down the back roads of South Carolina. I would daydream about the marshes near the ocean. I would daydream about that ocean in South Carolina. And it took a while. I mean, because I was really sick. It took me like 9 years. But eventually I moved to South Carolina and I lived on the ocean. And now I get to see marshes all the time. And I get to drive down the back roads of South Carolina. So that was it took a long time, but I was daydreaming just to keep myself from going insane. And it worked. And then when I decided I wanted to move from the ocean to Charleston, I would come up here a lot to get away from being a caregiver all the time, 24/7. And I would come up here and I would sit in the front of a restaurant and look out on the main like road with restaurants and bars and shops. And I would say, one of these days, I'm going to live here one of these days. How long did that take? That took almost 10 years. That took 9 years. But it works. And what Cheri said is just daydream, imagine it, and just imagine how wonderful you'll feel. Imagine the feelings of being in the situation you want to be in, or being in the whatever it is you want. Just imagine how wonderful it'll feel, and put yourself in that. And you can just keep imagining how wonderful you would feel, and eventually it'll happen. It will happen. It's like, that's like a shorthand to the universe. I want to do this. So whatever it is you want to do, it'll happen. So that's from Jenni. But I don't think your lower back, the pain in your lower back is not your kidneys. I don't think, but I can't say that. I can't say that because that's medical. Sure, I can hear you.
Sorry, Boo was whining. Entertainment purposes only, hypothetically speaking. A couple people wrote in there that they work in the sciences and it's not equitable. A light worker and Linda, I think it depends. Maybe I don't know what specific level that you're referring to.
Well, if you're super, super smart and you tick all the boxes and you're smart enough to work for NASA and you're smart enough to work with what do you call those?
I don't know.
Those lasers that what do you call those lasers that I can't remember the name of it because I'm not that smart. If you're on that level, it's not. I mean, I actually know people that are on that level, and it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man or what country you're from. It doesn't matter if you're on that level. But that's the highest level that there is, really.
Yeah, that's probably then for most everyone else. It's So here's an animal question, because I know there's no equitable thing in the medical profession.
No, definitely not.
And I know that from both ends, from being a nurse and from being a patient.
That's true.
And from having children with chronic health issues. There's no equity. Do you want to answer a question about an animal?
Yes.
I have. Okay. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, you guys have been together many, many lifetimes, many, many lifetimes. And he's been a horse, and he's been a horse many times, and a dog many times, and a cow a couple of times. A cow, a sweet, loving cow, like a pet cow. So yeah, that's the your most recent relationship, and that's why you both adhere to that.
Cool.
So yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Or are you done?
I think. Well, I answered the question, so yeah, that's
okay.
it.
You're done. Okay. So the next question: if land will be affordable in the Midwest? Well, there's some areas in the Midwest when you compare to the rest of the country are affordable in comparison. If you, and there's a lot of places that are going to become rediscovered because of their affordability that were previously overlooked or abandoned. Like I had this vision of Cleveland in 10 years, the population's going to grow immensely and it's going to be like this beaming place because it had been forgotten and it has the infrastructure already of a huge city. And they're going to realize with the problems we have that they're going to start reinventing these places that have been forgotten, and people are going to start moving back. So there are places now that are more affordable in comparison. Now, at the same token, they're still not affordable like they used to be, and things it's going to take, things are never going to be the way they were to a degree. And interest rates, used to be a lot higher. People think that, the 5, 6, 7% is high. Not really historically in comparison, they're not. So if you're looking, will things get cheaper? Eventually things will rebalance, but we're going to eventually go into an age that's just going to change the way, and this is way off down the line, that's going to change the way everything is done anyways. But it's not going to get any better anytime soon, because a lot of it has to do, they're telling me, the corporate investors and the corporate things and the artificially driven prices. And that's going to be a little bit of time before they get a handle on that in all areas. But there are areas that are much, much more affordable than other areas. You just have to look for them, and they're out there. So, but it's not going to get that much better anytime soon. But interest rates will start to come down, especially next year. They will start coming down, and things will start next year and the year after start to eventually rebalancing to get to an overall more balanced level. When you take, I think our financial structure is just going to start changing, and how much we our pay structures and all that's going to change. So it will start to get better, I think, going into next year and the year after. What do you think?
So when she said Midwest, that's a really big area.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Ohio, and that's the Midwest.
So I'm from the East Coast, but I think if you want land, move to a rural area and you'll be able to afford it.
Right.
And if you want water, like move to a rural area with a creek.
Move to the Great Lakes states. Talk about fresh water. Everybody wants our water. And the Great Lakes Commission had to say no because
it's so cold up there.
It is cold. It does kind of suck in the winter. I have to admit, I hate it. But if you want land, there are places that are better than others, but you don't have killer fires. You don't necessarily, unless you're in a floodplain, have killer floods. You don't have killer animals. Well, we have coyotes and stuff, but it's relatively in this little bubble of where Ohio and like Michigan, and it's relatively, and there's so much vacant places and so much vacant land that's just ready for the taking at dirt cheap prices if you look.
Yeah, and if you want like someplace to live or you want some land, think outside the box.
Right.
So if you want a house, think about buying an abandoned warehouse or a church that has land and make it the way you want it to be.
Right.
Or, I mean, it's really, the possibilities are really endless.
They are, and there is a lot out there. You just have to look at the right places for it. It is amazing out there.
And then, like, where do you want to be? Like, shoot.
I mean, I don't know, if you live way out, say in California, and have a house and you sell that house, like if I had my house in California, it would sell well over $1 million. I could buy my house here where I'm at now for 1 20th of that, like 20% of that. And just think of all the money you'd have left over. You know, so if you are in a high income place and you are lucky enough to own and you sell and you're willing to relocate to some of these areas, just look at what you could get for your money and look what that and look at how that could really afford you so a good solid foundation.
But our question was about the Midwest, not about California.
No, I'm just saying if you live in an area that if you are already high and you do own property and you do have that equity, the amount of what you sell there, and then if you can find a place in the Midwest that's cheaper, you're going to be able to pay cash for it, have no house payment, maybe no, you know what I mean? That
right.
You know,
my frame of reference for the Midwest is like St. Louis, and there's a whole lot of really expensive property in St. Louis, but if you go 50 miles out of St. Louis, you can buy yourself a vineyard or a farm that has a swimming hole. So it's out there. You just got to, first of all, manifest it and then go get it.
That's right. So anything's possible. So, I mean, I have heard of people that have done that. They've lived in California and they've sold their houses, and with the equity, they paid cash for their house, had a nice little, investment money to invest. And, they're living much better off in the long run and happier because of the thing. So definitely outside the box. So, well, did you want to read any longer or? Okay, now I have to ask, when you were a teenager, my boyfriend's dad said some days cars would run on that. Okay, what is that?
What is that? OM power. OM, I don't know what that is.
So, let's see. Yeah, Detroit is coming back too. I think that in 10 years, you're going to see, because, Detroit and Cleveland have always battled for the worst places to live in the Midwest. And if you're from this area, you know this. They have this, who could go lower? It's either crime or weather, or crime and weather, or the Rust Belt. I mean, let's face it, when the auto industry crashed, this whole area crashed. But think of the infrastructure these cities have. Think about what they have to offer. They already have the groundwork. And I see places like this really, really in 10 years, they're going to be restored. People are going to come back. It's going to be an urban renewal like we haven't seen. And I see them coming back because people are going to have to start moving away from the shores and moving away from these places due to Mother Nature's going to throw them off. And I've often felt this, and they're going to move them back to these areas where people left. And it's almost like I get the feeling she threw everybody off it for the purpose of knowing that they'd have to come back, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, in the 80s, it was 12%. I remember when my parents were trying to sell a house in the 80s. Interest rates,
mostly in the 70s, it was 17%.
Right. People were spoiled by these really low interest rates. That was unheard of. So when you say 5%, and 7%, that's really, I hate to say it, not that bad. Historically, it's not that bad.
My husband bought a car before he was my husband, and he paid full price for it, didn't have an air conditioner, and he was paying 17%. And he came and told me, I'm like, what? I was like, no, I bought the cars from then on.
Yeah.
He never bought another car.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yep.
But 17%.
OM power of. Oh, I see. The power of chanting. I see what you're saying. Om, when people om.
Om.
I'm thinking.
Run on Om. I think that's
question.
So this is what some of us believe.
Did you see my question?
That when the our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters come back, they're going to, after we've ascended a lot more,
that's when we're going to have
us free power, and part of the free power is going to be free car power.
Right.
So you could, that's a stretch on maybe.
I believe that's when we're going to see that huge boost, and that's what's really going to change us from the way we are now.
Right.
To then we're going to go through a huge when that happens, it's going to be like that. So that's, you said a question. I don't see a question. Did you want to answer any more questions? We have a couple personal questions. Huh?
It's a go. It's fine.
Okay. If I'm missing okay, here's a question from Rossi. What does spirit want me to work on? I feel there's something I need to do, but not sure what.
Can I go?
Yep. I wasn't trying.
Okay. Oh, you weren't. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So
I was looking through here for a question.
Okay, so Rossi, they're saying, okay, I had it, now I lost it. Just be yourself and follow your heart. Follow your heart. Do what you're doing now. You're already doing it. And then it's all going to open up to you. You're already doing it. You're doing it. You're on the path. So what they're saying is believe in yourself. Really believe in yourself. And bring that power, bring that knowingness into your heart. And because you're strong. You're a strong, I'd say woman. You're a strong being. And things will unfold for you, but they're not going to say exactly what. But believe, just do what you're doing. You're on the path. You're doing it right. So just believe that you're doing it right. And just bring that love into your heart every day, and then follow your heart. And then you got it. You got it, girl.
Yep. Okay. Here's a question from Jen. When I was a teenager, I went missing for about 3 hours in the night. My family and friends were searching for me. I woke up lying in the front yard, not knowing what happened, and no one saw me.
Okay, that's yours, Cheri.
Yeah. You were abducted. You were taken up and abducted, and they like did like certain like testing, like it's almost like a family thing where your family was agreed to being like followed, but not for nefarious reasons, but more of seeing how humanity is developing. It wasn't to experiment or that. They were checking on humanity as it developed. And when they do this, they check on how humans are reacting to like environments and how poisons and different things. It's for the betterment of humanity. It wasn't for any nefarious purposes. So this has been something that has gone ongoing in your family. And but that's it. They're monitoring human development to help us. So it wasn't anything nefarious, but that's what that was. How about you, Jenni?
So yeah, I agree 100%. Your family agreed to this a long time ago.
Yep. And they've been following you.
So you could say your ancestors, your family, your lineage. Yeah. And they were not going to hurt you, but yeah.
No.
Honestly, I think that's a privilege. I think if they chose you and your family, that's a privilege. And eventually you're going to see the fruits of that. I don't know, Cheri, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I do, because through that, they've seen what certain things that they said inflicted on people, certain things that society or certain aspects of our society has inflicted on the rest have caused harm, and the things that it's done to the human body, that they were able to see this because they've been following your family for so long that they could tell what is good and bad and what is doing what to the human body. So they're working on ways to help eventually come back and help us. And also they use it to send down information to people who are developing ways to treat other things. So it's almost like if they can't stop the people from inflicting the harm, they're going to try to affect change by developing cures and trying to work around the system. So they send information down to scientists and in hopes that they'll develop a cure or a counteraction to the things that are causing us harm. And that's by studying families throughout this time. So you're actually benefiting humanity as a whole. But when it eventually will come out, all this will come out. And when they're eventually shown, then we'll all actually be healed. And then, things will really change then. But that's what they're doing.
So it just came to me, maybe, I think this is from Jenny. I don't think this is a psychic reading, but, if you wanted to learn about that, because I think there's a lot more behind that, especially in the ancestral lineage.
I think you're working with them too.
Do a regression. You could work with a shaman. Mary from Rustic Raven is a great shaman.
I think she's working with them too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not just that part. It started out that, but I think you're actually working with them on it.
Yeah, I thought that too. I just didn't want to
you're working with them
sure.
Too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, I hope that made sense on that one. Let's see if there's any other. I missed the beginning. Feel free to skip my question. Oh, I think we already got. Let's see. Is there any other questions? Let's see. Oh, okay. So we already did that one. Oh, wow, Jen, I just realized I'm Jenny and my best friend is Cheri.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's really funny. Oh my God. So that's how I spell my name too. Oh my gosh. That's how you spell your name too. That's hilarious. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Is that this is a joke. Parallel life. Just a joke. Just a joke.
I know. Well, you never know.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, I think that might be it on the question. Let's see.
Yeah. So Jen, you might want to look into some of those past lives that you had with your friend Cheri, because Cheri and I have had many together, and we were sisters in every single one, almost.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Okay, so there's no reason to go back and look at a past life unless you're having a conflict in this, if it will help you in this life, or if you can bring something forward. But we're all finding out that we all knew each other, and it's really fun to go back and figure it out.
It is. And but I was kind of telling them in that other life how I discovered things through the work we've been doing on our life together in Savannah. I didn't want to go too much into it because you weren't there. So other than saying it's of somebody I read with, it's kind of hard. They could, and I know we've mentioned it a couple times on the air, but yeah, we were in Savannah and together, and that really has put some pieces of some things together in this life for me I did not see coming.
Yeah. So yeah, come to the Akashic Record show and ask the question about you and your friend Cheri. That'd be fun. That would be fun to read on.
That would be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And that's Sunday at 6 p.m. correct? Eastern Standard Time.
Yep. Eastern Standard, 6 o'clock. So
on Trancing with Spirit.
Yep. I have to make a new beginning for our show that is just for our show. I'm working on it. I'm behind. Okay.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, we're done. And thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate it. And we'll do this again, I'm sure. It was fun.
Thanks everybody. Yeah, it was fun.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And see you next time.
Take care.
Yep. Bye.